Hey everyone, okay, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to reverse contour. There are many reasons to use reverse contouring, and you know my thing is contouring. It's one thing I'm really good at. The rest, who can say? But contouring, I know my thing. The interesting thing with reverse contouring is that it works on everybody, but it's amazing if you have redness in your skin that you're trying to cover. Sometimes when I'm with clients, I will use a foundation that is 1 or 2 shades darker than their skin tone. They have a lot of redness in the face because say you are NC 20 in MAC foundation, you've got a lot of redness. You know, going up to an NC 25 can cover that so much easier than your own skin tone, because when there's a lot of red, it can just suddenly look a little bit pale and pasty regardless of what your skin color is. So deepening the foundation is a good thing. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. So I'm just applying a little bit of a moisturizer. It's actually a primer, but it's one I had on hand. And this is the Tom Ford Protective Base, which is lovely and dewy. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways. I'm going to show you with cream and I'm going to show you with liquids, because the chances are you're using one of those. So let's just get this all over my bloody skin and then we can make a start. So I'll start with creams. So I'm going to use my mud palette, why not? And this is my mud palette. Now I'm going to be using this shade here, which is too light for my skin, and this shade here, which is a little bit too dark. And I'm just going to apply the light shade first. So I'm actually going to apply the light shade. You would apply the light shade underneath the cheekbones where you would contour normally. So I'll apply it here. That's underneath the cheekbone. And then I'm just going to apply it on the outside corner as well. And just a tiny bit on the nose and a little bit in the center of the forehead. So that's where I would put the lightest color. Now the darkest color I would put on the actual cheekbones entirely, right here, because this tends to be where all the redness is, and the nose all the way down that area. And again, when you get red, you know, it's mainly the cheeks that get red and the nose, so all of those areas are kind of covered. Then you just take a damp, I'm doing this completely blind with just the monitor here. Then you take a beauty blender sponge that's damp and you kind of blend all those areas in. Now just start with the light area first to just do the bouncing motion. Don't worry if it's not completely blended in, because you'll go over it all in a second. So you're just stippling them in, and then just blend the entire thing all into one. So all of those shades marry themselves up together. Just bounce it all over the face. I go over the eyelid, you don't have to, whatever you want. But you're just blending it in, and this darker color on the cheekbone area will really, really help in kind of evening out your skin tone. And if you think you need a little bit more, look how red that side of my face is, then just go back in with the darker shade wherever you need it and just blend it out. So sorry, I've got no idea, I can't see anything. And if you find you need concealer, you can go over it afterwards, but I don't think I need any. Okay, and it just gives a little bit more dimension to the face on this side. It doesn't look like it's loads of different colors. And again, as I mentioned, if you do need concealer, you can, but I don't, because I'm using a really full coverage. That is flawless. I'm going to show you how to do it with a liquid. The same principle, but you'll just need to do it a little bit more blending, because liquid spreads easier, spreads more. So for liquids, I'm going to use Hourglass. I'm going to use number 2, which is light beige, which is more my skin tone, and warm beige, which is more dark. So I'm just going to apply half a pump, because this stuff's really full coverage. And again, I'm just going to clean my brush, and then I'll use the same brush to just pop it on. So I'll put the light shade on first, which is here, and I just like a top a tiny bit there. You can put a little bit in the forehead if you want, down the bridge of the nose, whatever. Then you take the darkest shade, and that goes here. So you can see the difference in contrast. You can put a little underneath if you want, down the sides of the nose and around the forehead, any areas that are red. But the real benefit is that you are taking that colour, the darkest colour, over the redness, so over the areas that are red. So again, I could come a little bit higher with that red because I get red under the eye. I'm just going to blend them all together as one, rather than picking the different shades out. I go over the eyelid. You don't have to. If you do go over the eyelid, make sure you powder that area so it doesn't crease. Chin's another area. If your chin is red, use the darker colour. I love, 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 as you all know, Hourglass. They make such good foundations. And you can see the difference here because Hourglass foundation is a medium to full coverage, but it has a different finish. So this side is a little bit darker than that side, but you get the gist. And you can see with both these foundations, they have a lot of glow to them. So we're going to dampen down some of that, and you can kind of pick and choose which side you prefer. So let's just put a little powder. I'll show you where I would put it. Okay, so powder, my dears. Powder goes wherever you want, but I think, because I'm long gone are the days of over powdering, right here, because we don't want a shiny forehead. So right there, that's where powder goes. Right here on the chin, definitely. Around the bloody nose, right there. Because you don't want to be oily here, and you don't want to be oily on the nose, the sides of the nose, and you want to set underneath the eye as well. And again, as I mentioned, when using creams and liquids, you will crease in the eyelid. So get rid of the creases and then put your powder on. So once the creases are gone, and then you can put your eye primer over it if it's something you do. So when you look at me full on, as you are, this section is matte, but there is that reflection here where we haven't put any colour, where we haven't put any powder. And most foundations, whether or not you know it yet or whether you've seen my video on it, set themselves over time. We need to give them time and they actually start to set. Then we can put cheek colour on. So I'll put a tiny bit on so you can see it's not dragging on the skin. We'll just pop on a tiny bit of blusher by Chanel, why not? And we'll just, there you go, just high up. And that area is not powdered, but it's not dragging or catching because we've given it a little bit of time to set. And there you go. And then any areas that you think are a bit nasty or you've overdone, I just go in with a clean brush and get rid of it. But I think that is a pretty flawless look, to be honest. And that's the side with Hourglass on. And this is the side that I actually think I've gone a bit, who knows. This is the side with the mud foundation on. So that's two different ways. But the principles, again, just to remind you, you put the darkest colour over the entire cheek area. The lightest colour goes underneath the cheekbone, around the mouth. The darker colours, again, go here, kind of on the chin, down the sides of the nose. You can put the darkest colour in the centre of your forehead as well if it tends to be very red, but I tend to get redness around the outside area, especially towards the hairline and above my brows, so that's where I would put it. And that is how you reverse contour, get a flawless face. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to do all the things that I like you to do, which of course is to pledge your firstborn to me or name them after me. But I would, if you can't do that, then you can just rate instead and put a thumbs up and feel free to share it wherever you want because I don't mind. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.